Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I'm so excited. Here we are again with Wendy with Metatron's Mystical Muse. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Myra. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm just going to hit the record button. We're going live on TikTok today.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I have had such an amazing time with you and Metatron. We're getting so many comments and people that have never heard of Metatron, right? So it's so exciting to share this time with everyone.
I do. I get so excited. Last night I was feeling kind of giddy, and having conversations with Metatron about, what is the purpose of us coming together and doing this. And he said that it's just,
Hey.
yeah, he said it's just really a beautiful and safe way for people to get to know his energy and how he presents. And he reminded me that there could be like 1,000 Metatron channels, and each of us will bring through his vibrational frequency differently. So yeah, he's very personable, as you know, right, and funny. So
Yes. Wonderful. Well, I wanted to just give you the opportunity to share what's going on your end, any events before we bring Metatron in.
Yes, yes, yes. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night, which is Friday, we are doing a free event called Tea and Wisdom with
Yeah.
Metatron. And it's basically a Q&A. Come and bring your questions, and Metatron will speak to you directly. You can sign up on my website, Metatron's Mystical Muse. And Whew, and then here comes the holidays, right? In December, I am doing an event with a mutual friend, Kelly Brown, and it's called Seeing Double. And we're both going to be channeling Metatron that evening, dual Metatron. And again, it's a
Oh, wow.
free event. Come and enjoy. Also on the website. I'm co-facilitating a year-long program next year, called Pathway of the Initiate. All of that information as well. And then I'm teaching a personal class in January called Moving Mountains, which is getting us ready and our feet firmly planted on the path for 2024. So those are all the things that in the moment I can remember.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just want to plug the tea time, which is the Q&A. I love those. I have it on my calendar to attend, but sometimes I'm just coming out of a session. So I always like to try to make those. And just to let you know, if you have a question, something that you want to know, please join this Q&A. It's complimentary. And not only that, you learn from other questions, right? Some of the other people that are attending the meeting. So you could just be present and take a lot out of
Yeah.
the wisdom of Metatron. So I love
It's
those.
it's there's parts of it that are fun, parts of it that really bring a lot of good information, and then it's really supportive emotionally for a lot of people too. So
Yes, yes. All right. Well, I am super excited. I was also connecting with Metatron last night when I was working on my questions. So I'm excited. I was telling him, okay, I'm going to be asking you some of these burning questions. So I'm ready when you are.
all right, I'm going to go ahead and do my process to bring him in. And I'm just reminding everyone about discernment. He'll bring lots of information. Always take what feels right to you and let go of anything that doesn't. All right.
Good, thank you.
Right. It'll be just a moment.
So for those of you watching, Wendy is a full body unconscious trance channel for Metatron. She's going to bring him in now.
Right. Namaste. Good day to you, beloved one.
Good day. Excited to meet with you again.
Indeed. We always have a good time, right?
Yes, we do. We do. So let's
Oh,
get right to it.
all right.
Metatron, I wanted to talk about 2024. And I know Wendy and I had a brief conversation. I love feng shui. I don't know if you're familiar with that word. Are you?
Yes.
You are. Yes, I'm a big feng shui, let's say junkie. And my feng shui consultant mentioned 2024 is going to be sort of a game changer. So, but I'd love to hear your perspective of what 2024 is going to bring to us.
Indeed. So as we have been in conversation with our channel and with others, that 2024 is going to be a year of change and intensified growth and evolution of the soul. There's the potential for as much growth and evolution in 2024 as you've experienced in the last 10 years. So that's a lot of growth, right? And we've been jokingly calling it a sink or swim year, right?
Ooh.
And sinking is not failing, right? We want you to know that sinking is not failing, but many people are going to be taking advantage of the energies to explode, to expand as quickly as possible. Others are going to say, you know, this is my year to go inside, to kind of hibernate, to do the inner work, and then they will explode in 2025. And so there's no wrong path, no one or right way to do it, just you know, two different ways to deal with the energies next year.
Hmm.
Whatever path people choose, we encourage you to, you know, ride the top of the wave, right? Pay attention, take care of yourself, be aware of your energy, right? Don't want to get whomped.
Is there anything that determines who's sinking, who's swimming? Does it have anything to do with astrology? Nothing at all?
Well,
Or yes?
so you could say that astrology dovetails into personal choice. It's really about the soul's journey and where the soul is leading you along the path. That's going to be the greatest instigator of you know, which path that you take in the coming year, right? The swimming or the sinking. And again, sinking
Yes.
just means that, you know, people think, oh, if I'm sinking, I'm failing. And we want you to know that you are not, that you are still evolving, you are still growing, and that you will have your time of explosion when it's ready, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 2024 for people personally, but what about globally? What
Yeah.
do you see 2024 bringing globally?
A lot of discord in
Mm,
here, unfortunately. Yeah, you will see more discord upon the planet. You're going to see it's that it's that you know, the darkest before the dawn kind of energy globally next year. A lot of political things occurring, a lot of uh war.
mm.
Yeah, expanded skirmishes. It's unfortunate, right? And hard to remember that it's all in divine order. Mm,
All in divine order,
mm,
even the painful ones. Yeah. Mm,
mm. Yeah, yeah.
mhm. Okay.
So yes, indeed. There's going to be a lot of earth changes also in the next year. Dry where it's normally wet, wet where it's normally dry, things like that, volcanoes, couple of earthquakes. So, Gaia is also stretching a little bit over the next year, a little bit more than normal. So what does that mean on a whole? Well, it means that you do the best that you can, right? And it's not to worry about these things, right? It's to be present. It's to be aligned with your soul's journey. And then when something is in front of you, you deal with it, right? We hope that all individuals can begin to relax into the journey and not have so much anxiety and so much fear. That would be our prayer for the world, that fear be dissipated, right? And love take its place.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
What about disclosure? Do you see any disclosure, anything important that might be cracked open in 2024?
Well, there's going to be some archaeological discoveries that are going to mean that timelines and ideas about who, what, when, and where have to shift. The discoveries that everybody wonders about have already happened, right? The discoveries about galactic beings visiting this planet, the discoveries about Atlantean technology, many of these things have already been discovered, and they've kind of been whisked away from the view knowledge of the general public.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So let's talk about twin flames. That's been such a little hot topic over the last several years. And there are many definitions of what a twin flame is. And I'd like to hear what your perspective, what's your answer on what really is a twin flame?
All right. Well, in relationships, people are looking for their twin flame.
Yes.
And normally, twin flame relationships are all about soul contracts, resolving soul contracts, perhaps that have been moving lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Many of those relationships are difficult because there's growth and past trauma is coming up to be healed and all of those things. So twin flame, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's your soul, right? It's not bad, but it is not the walk in the park that people have in their mind that it is. So if you could imagine a soul as one thing, and then that soul breaks into multiple other levels of itself. There's the oversoul, the soul collective, the soul family, the twin flames, the soul mates, right? These are all aspects of one soul.
Okay.
So the term soulmate, the term twin flame, these are delineations of what we'll call the original soul. Does that make any sense to you?
It does. It does. But yeah, it's like I just wonder why people are looking for their twin flame when are they truly meant to connect? Or
Oh,
is it
many times. Yes,
yeah,
many times. Yeah. And of course it's always choice. And sometimes you're here and your twin flame is not on the planet, right? So it's not every time are you going to have the opportunity to have that relationship. The we think that the reason people are looking for their twin flames is because it's gotten a lot of hype.
yes, it has.
It's gotten a lot of hype, and truly what people are looking for without a label on it is love. They
Yeah.
want that individual that has a shared vision, that will love them unconditionally and vice versa, and travel through life together, navigating the ups and the downs. And that's what people want. And I think that they have labeled that twin flame or
Okay.
soulmate, right?
Okay. When you find your twin flame, how is that relationship again? How does that, is it convoluted? Is
Not
it difficult?
necessarily. Not
Okay,
necessarily. They're just twin flame relationships are typically not smooth sailing.
right.
There's things to heal. If you have soul contracts together, each of you are, completing 50% of that soul contract. And so you're helping each other heal ancient drama, ancestral things, current things. And within that energy, it's an energy of work. And many people who are doing their spiritual work know how that feels. It's a lot of emotions sometimes, and it's sometimes uncomfortable. Sometimes it it repels to people, sometimes it pulls two people together. So there's not one way that a twin flame relationship looks or how people react. Right? Depends on your journey of the soul and the journey that you have in co-creation with your mate.
Okay. I'm curious, Metatron, if you can tap into my Akashic records and tell me if my twin flame was, did that happen in this life for me already?
All right,
Get a twin flame?
let's take a look. Not yet. What we see is that you've had more than one relationship that has been kind of about cleaning up past stuff,
Okay.
right? But
Sense.
what we're seeing within your Akashic records is a beautiful blue flame. And what that blue flame is indicating to us is that your twin flame, you've not come together yet.
Okay.
There's still the possibility of of that relationship. And it looks like, and I know this seems like a long time, but it looks like you will run into or meet this individual within the next 2 to 5 years.
Okay.
All right.
Not in a hurry. It's all good. Doesn't that feel different from when you met me, Metatron? How I was, more into finding a relationship, and now I'm like, it's
Yeah.
good. It's all good.
And there's a part of you, beloved one, that already feels that, already knows that, right?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You always have choice. They can
Yeah.
show up on your front doorstep and you can go, maybe or maybe not, right?
Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Wonderful.
Always have that choice.
Yes. All right. Thank you. So, in our last segment, Wendy and I spoke briefly about, and I know this is, you don't like the word time because there is no time, but I'm going to use the word simply to describe, as humans do, recognize time. But how time for us here has sped up. I mean, when I was a young girl, it just seemed like forever to get through grade school and high school, and it's just now moving so fast. What happened? Why is time speeding up like this?
All right. So we want to reference you to one understanding that for young people, it still seems like it takes forever.
Okay.
But for adults that, and particularly adults that are awakening and becoming more aware of the energetics upon the planet, what you call timelines have begun to condense. And so things are moving more quickly. And this has to do with evolutionary process of Gaia. This has to do with the Earth axis. This has to do with a number of different things that create the illusion that it's moving more quickly, the feeling that it's moving more quickly. And what is held in the collective conscious, right? In the collective consciousness, everybody keeps saying, wow, time is moving so fast. Wow, time is
Yeah.
moving so fast. And so then the universe answers, yes, the
Mm.
time is moving so fast.
Okay.
And
So we're creating it.
feels like it's speeding up. And yes, you have a hand in creating that. Yeah.
Is there a benefit to it?
There's the one benefit to the speeding up is uh the soul awakenings,
Okay.
because that energy of speeding up kind of heats the vibrational frequency. So, and so everybody that's been hibernating like beautiful little eggs begin to awaken. So yes, indeed, that is one of the pieces of purposeful good, because there's not going to be anyone left behind. Every soul upon the planet will awaken and ascend. So the vibration of moving faster is facilitating that. Right?
Yeah. I'd like to talk about portals now that are here on Earth.
Mhm.
First, I'd really like to have an understanding of what are they before we go to where are they. Okay.
All right. So there's portals everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do we explain it's like you step into a portal and you step out of a portal. No time, no space has happened.
Okay. It's almost like paused.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you can utilize portals to travel to different dimensions, to different planetary systems. You can travel across the cosmos using the energy of a portal. But again, it's like closing the eyes and boom, you're there. There's usually no feeling of traveling, right? So
Okay.
that when we cannot explain the quantum physics of it to you, beloved one. Our channel does not have the verbiage for that, but that is scientifically it's been explained through quantum physics.
Okay. Mhm. So Are there portals currently here on our planet that are being protected by the government?
But
Yes.
or protected by the government.
Or covered up, or they don't want people to find them because it takes you through different timelines.
Yeah, because portals work both ways, right? It's not only that you can go there, but there can come here. And so the government has done a lot of research on what are the portals. And the places where the portals exist upon your planet, Mount Shasta, Sedona, Machu Picchu, are just a few of the big ones, right? There's many.
Yes.
Why, all over the world, right? The governments have a tendency to be putting their bases near there, patrolling near there, watching near there to see, what's coming and going through the portals. So there's not really anything that the government can do to prevent something from moving through a portal. That is beyond their scope of capability, but they can definitely wait to see what comes through and react to that.
Yes. Yeah, which brings me to, does that happen? Are there some people that travel through with permission to learn about different timelines or to offer help in past timelines? Like, we are more advanced than they were in the 1800s. Do they have anyone that travels through to help? Just curious.
To help, you mean taking knowledge from here back to the 1800s?
Yep.
You have to understand that when you travel like that, it's like when you do your hypnotherapy, beloved one, and you are traveling back into someone's consciousness or traveling back into a past life. The travel through the portals is very much like that. To have physical impact on, taking something from here and going back to the 1800s, having physical impact is difficult.
Okay.
Right? It's difficult. It's possible. It has happened, but you have to understand that the human individual now, as compared to the human individual in the 1800s, vibrates differently.
Sure.
Right? There's all kinds of things that have to line up
Okay.
for a physical impact. If
Okay.
that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
The movies and the television shows would indicate, yes, I'm going to go through this portal, I'm going to be in 1920, and I'm going to go, I'm going to go to listen to jazz. And while you may have that experience in the etheric realm, it's very difficult to have the experience in the physical.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So you had brought up Machu Picchu, which is interesting because it's on my list to ask you about some of the wonders of the world, right? But I'd like to ask you about the pyramids in Giza. There are so many theories of how they were built, but I'd like to ask you how, why. Let's start there.
All right. So there were some of the edifices that were built by human hand, and those have not held up through time. right? Those were not things that you are currently seeing standing in Egypt at this time. The things that were created that are still standing were created using galactic technology,
Mhm.
right? What were they used for? They had a number of different uses. They housed the mystery schools. They housed great libraries, great technology information were stored within many of the pyramids. Some of the pyramids were used for communication between planets. There is also a sphinx upon Mars that still exists, and there was communication between planet Earth and Mars at one point in time. So there were many functions of the pyramids. And there's pyramids all over the world, not just in Egypt, right? And so they had many different uses and functions.
They
Yeah.
do. Okay. Mhm. It's interesting. I had a session yesterday with a client who went back to another life in Egypt. And in one of the memories, from a distance, she could see the pyramids. And there was a craft hovering, shooting lasers down into the tops of the pyramid. The lasers were green.
Mm.
It was just really remarkable to hear her, see that memory from a past life. What do you think the ship was doing when it was shooting lasers? Why would they do that?
We do not
No,
have an understanding of why a being might be doing something, right? What we know is that the pyramids held great energy. And so something like that could have been to raise vibration. It could have been, a form of communication because we were not there at that moment. We do not know.
yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. Does the shape of the pyramids, is that relevant?
Well, yeah, it is relevant, right? Because uh the triangle, right, the pyramidical shape is a sacred shape.
Mhm.
In the desert, think about heat and think about the flat roof that has the sun baking on it all day, and the heat within the domicile then becomes greater than if there's a pyramidical shape and,
Yes.
and the sun is beating on it differently. So part of it was, survival. How do we survive? How do we survive the heat? Part of it was sacred because of the shape. And some of the pyramids, if you were able to excavate all the way down and see the shapes, right? Some of them were Merkaba shaped, right?
Hmm.
So many things that are, like we say, archaeological things that are going to be revealed in the
Yeah.
coming year or two, and you will receive some interesting news out of Egypt, right? There
Uh,
there are there are blank spots in uh in your history lines.
mhm. Hmm.
And so there are things that are going to be uncovered that goes, oh my gosh, where does this go? And so you could kind of have to make some space for things and kind of put them in, right? There were many different races of beings this planet at one time.
Yes. Is that coming in 2024?
Well, let's say it's continuing in
Okay, okay.
some of them left, some of them are still here, some are returning, particularly those that are part of the order of Melchizedek. The Essenes are returning to planet Earth to regather and bring forward the mysteries that they have held for centuries. So you will begin to notice a very large body of information coming to light about the Essenes and the importance of that grouping of beings, right?
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
indeed.
What about Stonehenge?
Well,
How there's still a mystery about who built it, like, and why.
so Stonehenge was at one point in time a druidic temple,
Mm.
right? And the druids did not like to be in an enclosed space.
Oh,
And so there were not like walls that completed Stonehenge, but at one point in time it had had stone pieces across the top that were held by uh, the grounded pieces, right?
yes.
Underneath Stonehenge are more stones, right? And so it is an energetically sacred space, and at different times, different cycles of sun and moon, it's a power point, it's a portal, it was a place of worship. So that is, a little bit about, the function of Stonehenge, right?
Thank you.
Indeed.
I'd like to ask if, there's talks about life in inner Earth.
Mhm.
Is there a
Mhm.
species of beings in
Mhm.
our inner Earth?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yes. Can you
yeah.
tell me about them?
Well, yes. Uh, Many of them, it's not that you're just going to go to your backyard and dig a hole and find
No,
them.
no, I'm talking way inner. Yes, of course.
The places that house many of them are places like the Grand Canyon, and places where there is entrances from outer earth and take you deeper into the earth.
Like volcanoes?
Mm, uh Volcanoes that are not active, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there, and the beings that lives subterraneally are very humanoid, except for the fact that they have a different way of seeing, their senses are different, right?
Mhm.
And so what do they do
Yeah.
under there all
What do they
day,
do?
right? Well, what do you do up here all day, right? They live, they gather food, they create life for themselves, right? And why might they have gone underground? Well, there's many theories on that that there are some species of man that went under voluntarily, and then there is the theory that there was a whole species of mankind that was born
Mhm.
subterraneally.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
right? And no, everybody wants to know about Bigfoot. That is, you know, that is not necessarily a true story.
Oh, good to know. Okay, good to know. So the sightings, people that film, those are
Yeah, those
not,
are so you must understand that below the earth there are, you know, different, you know, there are different animals, vegetables, minerals, subterraneally from what's up here. And when some of those find their way up, they're mistaken for
oh,
a mystical creature, right?
I see. So they do find their way up sometimes?
Some of the humanoids find their way to the top, right? Just as you scientifically go under the earth or up into the cosmos, those that are subterranean come up to explore here.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if they do come up, would I be able to see them, or are they sort of in a different dimension where I may not see them?
So you would be able to see them.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. And so, can you explain? Because I believe I've had sessions with clients that have been had these subterranean lifetimes. Can you explain how they have light? Because it's quite bright down there. There's light, and I never understood how there is light there.
Right. But there is you have heard of the great central sun.
Yes.
And there is also what would be called a central sun within Gaia, right? She is still
Wow.
a molten core, right? And so that illuminates to a degree. It's not like when you go out and get your suntan,
Mm.
but there is light, enough light to see and grow food and those types of things. So there is what would be considered a sun within the center of Gaia.
Interesting. What
Yeah.
about ocean?
There's
Is
water. There's
oh,
water, both fresh and salt.
wow.
Oh,
Very interesting. Thank you.
indeed.
I'd like to talk about ascended masters. I know in some of the other segments we talked about archangels and how they are a race of beings. Um, I'm curious about ascended masters. Um, who are they? I know there are countless, including Jesus, but what is the best way to work with ascended masters? Just like how do we work with angels? We kind of covered that. Let's talk about them. I don't want to
Okay,
leave them out.
all right. So ascended masters started out by not being ascended masters, right? Much like the human experience, they went through an evolutionary process until they became what you call ascended, right? You are going through your own ascension process, and one day you will have ascended. Does that mean that the ascension process stops? No. Ascended masters are still evolving as well, right? And yes, there's more than you have awareness of in this moment. One of the greatest ways to work with an ascended master is to decide who you'd like to work with. If you feel drawn to Saint Germain, if you feel drawn to Sanat Kumara, if you feel drawn to Lady Nada, any of those, you can sit down and you can call them, invite them into your space and ask to work with them. Or you can go into your Akashic records and invite them to meet you there and have conversations and receive information and work with them just like you would with any other guide. They are absolutely open and willing, and as a matter of fact, Metatron's kind of ascended as well, right?
Yes.
You call, it is our commitment to you that we will show up. Right.
Right.
Whether you can see us or hear us, you call, we're there. And so if you can't see or hear, feel.
Yeah. I'm feeling right now.
And
I'm feeling
just
something behind me right now.
right, right. And so ascended masters, much like the angels and archangels, have been assigned different personalities and different jobs and that type of thing.
Mhm.
And any of the ascended masters can assist you in whatever you need. You don't have to say, I can only deal with this one because I want abundance, right? You can call upon any that you feel a connection with, and we are more than happy to assist.
Okay. Thank you.
Indeed.
It reminds me of the retreat I went on a few years ago with you and Wendy and a beautiful group of um, women to Wyoming. And we were able to connect with the Brotherhood of Light there. And what
Yes.
I found just so remarkable, we were there at the Teton. Oh gosh, it was just undescribable, right?
Unbelievably beautiful, yes.
Oh, it was so beautiful. And it was so wonderful to actually see Wendy channel you in person, because that was even like, wow. I had just experienced you here through, technology. But we had a ceremony and we were all sort of initiated into this Brotherhood of Light. And I found it really interesting how there was this meeting of all of these ascended masters that came to the Teton Mountains for this meeting, right? Can can you tell me what is this meeting? Why did they all gather there? I should have asked then, but I was in just such awe. What was that about? And how do we work with the Brotherhood of Light?
Okay, so the ground, the Tetons, right outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, extraordinarily beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Portals everywhere through the Tetons, right? And in Yellowstone as well. Very sacred space. The the ascended masters have what they call homes or temples, domiciles all over the planet. And it's places that they plant their energy so that it anchors their energy on the planet.
Wow.
Every now and then they'll all come together and and anchor energy on the planet. While you were there on your trip,
Yes.
they were all invited to come and join you. That was the preparation for the trip. The facilitators of the retreat sat and invited all of the ascended masters, and they showed up for you,
Yes.
all of you, and they also got to anchor their vibrational frequencies more fully upon the planet. And they are always working in co-creation with each other. They keep an eye on your little planet because this little planet is important.
Yeah.
You evolve, everybody else evolves, right? And how do you think that this infinitesimal point within the cosmos has been kept safe all this time, right? The ascended masters and many other beings work hard to keep your planet safe, right? Safe from things that are flying through the rest of the cosmos, right?
Mhm.
So that is one of the things that the ascended masters are part of as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The health of Gaia. Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Thank you. Can you talk about what is sacred geometry? And I had a follower that wanted me to ask you. She is experiencing a lot of sacred geometry in her dreams. Why would someone start dreaming about geometry?
Okay. Wow, that's a great question. So sacred geometry is a combination of light and sound and vibration, right?
Okay.
And so each symbol, say the triangle, right,
Yeah.
has a vibration, has a sound connected to it, right? And so when someone begins to dream about sacred geometry, oftentimes what is happening is that they are being prepared to begin to bring through light language, which is also connected to sacred geometry. Okay. And so that is one of the things that's possible. Sometimes people that are dreaming of sacred geometry are also remembering that they know, right? Remembering how they've used it in past lives, remembering the importance of it. And it's, light, sound, vibration, it's all source, right?
Yeah.
Source in form. So
Beautiful.
yeah. So we encourage that individual to check in and see if any tunes have been playing or any light languages wanted to come out verbally.
Okay. Thank you. That's beautiful. And
Mm.
as we talk about that, I'm hearing light language now.
Yes.
Would you like to join me in a
Of
little bit of
course. Please do. I'll
yeah.
let you in.
Mm. Itraolo oro okwa ina te shia sia la uruma. Iprakaria sa she ila. Ina uro oloma ira okokwa si. Apra onolo oto oshaolo. Uma kakaoshe. Iprania tataoshe. Isara ukuro uno.
Shai no hoyai sun shai hoya son yahayo fushis so ma hon shu
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful as well. You create
You.
you create ripples, beloved one. It
Yes.
pulls out.
I feel that.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's time now for Metatron's advice. What would you like to tell people that are listening today?
Hmm. Like everyone to know that they are loved beyond comprehension. We know that things don't look great upon your planet. And there's a lot of fear, a lot of anger, frustration. We would really encourage you all to take time each day to not only connect with your planet and your loved ones, but to connect upwards as well. Your heart to the heart of God, the heart of source, the heart of universe, whatever you call it for you. That is going to be your shining star, your true north in how you're moving forward in your life. When you become so densified and looking only here in front of you, your job, your family, the grocery store, right? Things become very contracted. You expand when you look up, when you open your heart to the ascended masters, your angels, your guardians, whatever you feel called to open to. That will also be a beautiful tool for staying on top of the wave in 2024, right? Is as remembering to look up. And don't forget the power of gratitude. Gratitude is such a powerful tool of transformation. It can transform emotions, it can transform situations, it can transform thought processes, right? You all have the power of gratitude, and we encourage you to let it spill out into your life and flow out into the world at large, right? You make a difference. You make a difference, right? And then know that we're with you always.
I love you, Metatron.
Yeah. We want you to know, beloved one, that what you're doing is important. It's important work.
Mm.
You're doing spirit's work in the world. Thank you. And thank you to all within earshot of this for what you do, what you bring as service. Thank you.
It means a lot. Thank you. All right. I feel complete.
As do we. Thank you so much for allowing us to be with you today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Indeed. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hi.
I feel very touched by an angel right now.
Oh. Did you get a little Metatron love? Yeah,
Did.
he's amazing.
He sure is.
I'm grateful to be his muse, or one of his muses. Let's put it that way.
I think I'll be having a private session with you guys soon. It's been a little while. So yeah.
All right,
Guys.
you welcome. Please just let me know.
Yes. Thank you so much, Wendy, for joining me today. Thank you, Metatron. I know that we are returning in December. So please, if you have questions for Metatron, there are multiple ways of getting messages to me, either commenting on some of the on some of the platforms, Instagram, TikTok, where we do share, samples of the podcast segment. Or you can always email or comment on Metatron's Mystical Muse. Wendy is also sharing these segments on her platform on YouTube, Instagram. We thank you all so much for listening. Do you have any final words or sharing that you'd like to
Oh,
add?
happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And and so many blessings for a beautiful holiday season, because it's upon us, and I wish everyone just joy and blessings.
As do I. Thank you, Wendy.
Welcome. Thanks, Milo.